everybody. So American whiskies done, gone. We've done all our American ones. That's it. So we're going to crack on with some more Scotch. Not many. Going to do a little bit of Scotch, and then probably I'm going to move on to what I've got on my list. Is it Canadian or Irish? One or the other. So we're going to do a little run of Scotch. And this one was a donation from Andrew P. Butler. Yet another donation of Andrew P. Butler. He pops up a lot during this challenge. And this was one that he actually sent me recently. Now I've covered this distillery already back in number 100 because this is from the Springbank distillery. So I'll do a quick run through of the history of the distillery itself, although if you want more information, go back and look at Dram number 100 when I did the Springbank 10-year-old. But Springbank is on Campbelltown, which is the peninsula off the south-west of Scotland. It was founded in 1828 by the Reed family. Now, if you go to the Springbank website, it talks about the Mitchell family and how the Mitchell family still run it now. But the Mitchell family actually bought it off the Reed family not long after it was opened in 1837. And did I say 1838 when it was opened? I might have said 1838, whereas actually 1828. And John and William Mitchell bought the distillery in 1837. Yes, 1828, 1837. I've got some notes down here, but I'm trying not to read them. So they still own it now, but they didn't actually own it from its actual creation. So it's the fifth generation of the Mitchell family that runs it, and they do everything on site. So this is from malting to distilling to bottling. The whole thing's on site. Very, very highly regarded. Really, really popular. There's a lot of care and attention on the whole process, and the quality of their whiskies is fantastic. They do 3 different versions. They do the standard Springbank, which is distilled 2.5 times. They do a brand called Longrow, which is a fairly heavily peated version, and then they do this, which is Hazelburn. Now, Longrow and Hazelburn are named after 2 distilleries that used to be on Campbelltown. Campbelltown used to have about 40 distilleries on there. It was a proper hub of Scotch whisky production. Now there's only 3. Springbank, Glen Scotia and Glengyle. Kilkerran, as it's called now. So what Springbank do is they divvy up the year in terms of the production of the 3 different styles they do, because they're different. You know, Longrow's heavily peated. Hazelburn is triple distilled. So 80% of their production through the year is for Springbank. That's their main brand. 10% is for Longrow, and then the last 10% is for Hazelburn. So triple distilled, they first distilled it in 1997, and it was released as an 8-year-old in 2005. Now they only do a limited number of bottlings every year, and it's matured in ex-sherry cask. Now on the label it does actually say, because this is an actual miniature from Andrew, he's had some of it, he's left me half so that we can share it, and I've got my 25 mils for the challenge. So it says here, product of Scotland, matured in oak. It's another one of those labels where it's a bit meaningless, a bit like what was it, Balvenie, where it said it was matured in whiskey oak, like whatever that means, you know, what type of oak. So it is sherry matured. I'm fairly certain they've not added any colouring to it. Yeah, probably. I'm willing to bet they've not added any colouring to it. I realised that I was going on a bit about colouring. I think I got influenced a bit by Mortimer Mike, who has a bit of a bee in his bonnet about E150, which is fair enough to him. And it is a sort of, it's a purity thing, I think. I think it's one of these things where adding something in that doesn't necessarily need it to be added in to make it look more like whiskey. What does it matter? I'm going to try and ease back on that, because I think I was focusing on that a little bit too much in terms of what the colour was. The colour, do you know what? The colour doesn't affect how it tastes. It's your nose and your mouth. You can get some kind of indication, but I've had that many whiskies now. This is 187, that to be honest, they start to look the same. Unless it's like quite a distinctive, interesting colour. If they've added caramel to it, it's not like they do another version where they've not added caramel to it, and you can try the same and go, actually, to be honest, the one with caramel that's been added to it tastes horrible. I wish that, I'd rather have the one that doesn't have the colouring added in. So if they have, I can't do anything about it. It might make it taste better. So I'm not going to go, it looks like whiskey, but if it's had colouring to it, we can't do anything about it, to be perfectly honest. We just have to deal with it. If it's had colouring added to it and it tastes like crap, it's probably not because it's had colouring to it, it's because it's not a very good whiskey. Likewise, if it's had colouring added to it and it tastes amazing, then that's not the colouring's fault or cause, so what does it matter? But I understand why people might want to get het up about it, because it's a kind of, it's like additives and flavourings and things like that. If you don't need to add it in, it doesn't do anything. It just makes it, we add colouring to it to make it look more like whiskey. Well, so what? Whiskey looks like so many different colours. It's more what it tastes like. You don't just sit there and look at it for hours on end and then put it away or throw it down the sink. You sniff it and you put it down your throat. That's where the most important thing is. So it could look bloody purple for all I care, or snot green, but if it smells nice and tastes nice, what does it matter? Somebody might want to argue with me about that, and that's absolutely fine. We all have our own opinions. That's just the way I feel about it. Anyway, Hazelburn, unpeated as well. Although you wouldn't think it smelling it. Apparently Hazelburn's unpeated and it's triple distilled. So it's distilled 3 times. So you end up with a slightly cleaner spirit. More of the impurities have been taken out during the distillation. Really, the only other one that do it of any scale is Auchentoshan. They triple distill. I think that's about it. Maybe 1 or 2 others. I'm probably forgetting one other as well. But there really aren't that many doing it. It's an extra cost of production, and there's an argument that you don't get that much extra benefit out of doing it. But for a whiskey that's unpeated, this smells peated. And there's nothing on the label to say that it's been matured. This is their bog standard 12-year-old. I say bog standard, it's far from bog standard. You're looking at about £50 a bottle for this, which is not a bog standard price. 46%. But nose in this, I'd have said it was peated. It's got a definite, gentle, sweet smokiness to it. And it's a slightly sea air and seaweed as well. Ooh, salt and pepper. Salt and pepper and cinder toffee. Slightly ashy. And now it's turned into smoked sausage. I'm hoping that Andrew has not poured the bottle out and has put something else in here that happens to be peated, because I would never in a month of Sundays have said that is an unpeated whiskey. It can't be. And yet everything I've read about this, I might have just completely misread everything, and I might have got completely the wrong bottling that I've been reading up on, but everything I've been reading has been saying that Hazelburn's unpeated, and yet this is smoked sausage and seaweed and sea air and bonfires. It's bloody good. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely fantastic. It's delicate, it's complex, there's so many flavours going on. Like I say, it changes, it goes salty, then you get this bonfire element, then you get smoked meats, then black pepper comes in, then salt comes back, and it comes in waves, literal sea waves as well. Oh, that's good. That's really good. That is 50 quid's worth of whiskey as well. Not the miniature, obviously a full-size bottle. Did I put a picture of the bottle up? I don't think I did. So that's what it looks like. Well, that's the miniature, but yeah, that's what the bottle looked like. Oh, it's so good. Where are they getting this flavour from? It's so gentle. It's 46% and there is no burn at the back of your throat. And it's just bags of character. Oh, it's brilliant. It's fantastic stuff. It's absolutely superb. And I do not believe for a second that is an unpeated whiskey. It can't be, surely. Surely not. What are they doing? Well, are they maturing it in Islay casks? Maybe. I don't know. It's got me completely bewildered. Please, and I think Andrew probably will, put some comments in the YouTube video and tell me how that's peated. Is that because I've just had like 60 American whiskies on the trot, and now I've gone back to a Scotch, and all of a sudden I'm actually picking up flavour? Or have I just completely misread? Have I looked at completely the wrong websites when doing my research for this? And this is actually a 12-year-old that's a peated version of Hazelburn, or it's matured in Isla Cass or something, because there is so much flavour in that, and it's not powerfully smoky. It's soft and gentle, but it's bonfire and not iodine, but it's kind of barbecues and meats and sea salt. It's like having a barbecue on the beach. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But it's got my head going, no, it's not supposed to taste like this, surely. Great stuff. Andrew, thank you for that. I need to find out some more about that, please. So can you guys help me out? And girls, obviously. Because that has just thrown me for 6. But it's a brilliant, brilliant whiskey. Whatever it is, however they've made it, it's fantastic. Get it. Right, that's me done. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.